All right, I think we're going to go ahead and get started. All right, well, welcome everyone. My name is Arman Sharma. I'm an undergraduate here at Stanford studying Bioengineering and Economics. I'm the Vice President of the Stanford India Policy and Economics Club. And I'll be your MC for today, so you'll have the pleasure of hearing my voice. Thank you all so much for coming. It really means a lot that so many Californians actually decided to step out into the rain. Also, I do see a good number of Stanford students here, so you guys actually do have the ability to make 9 a.m.s, so I appreciate that. But yeah, we have a super packed but very exciting day for all of you today. So I'm just going to go over a couple of housekeeping rules, and then we'll go ahead and get started with the main program. So we do have a live stream running throughout the entire day, and the cameras are set up back there. So when possible, please try to move sort of around the periphery of the room instead of crossing right through the middle. When we have questions, when we open it up for questions, please raise your hand, and one of our team members will come over with a mic, and you can please stand, and please keep your questions short, because most of our sessions are only 30 to 40 minutes. We ask that you please switch your phones onto silent, and you can take photos, but no flash photography, please, because we are taking video and pictures. If you have to step out, we ask that you do it between sessions. So when I'm up here, I won't get offended. But our speakers, we want to be sure to give them our complete attention. And restrooms are right around the corner. So if you go right out here, you'll see them. And if you're not able to find them, please ask one of the team members who are at registration. Okay. So now we'll go ahead and get started with the opening ceremony. We have a great lineup of people here to open the conference. So we'll start with my co-founder and my good friend, Mr. Devansh Sharma.
Good morning, everybody. I don't think I need to ask this question, but I'll ask it anyways. How's the Josh? How's the Josh? Fantastic. I am so proud to welcome you all to our conference today. 3 years ago, when Siddharth, Arman, and myself started this organization, we felt that there was a lack of a narrative of India on campus. Whatever was there about India was mired in the old colonial era mentality. And we set ourselves out on a mission to change that. We hosted many prominent speakers, such as Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal, Electronics and IT Minister Mr. Ashwini Vaishnav, and the like. But we felt that there was a need, we need to make a continuity happen. We needed to get something that draws the entire Stanford community together for India. And therefore, today, we bring to you the Stanford India Dialogue, the Leaders of Tomorrow conference, to showcase the voice of New Bharat to all of you. A very warm welcome to all of you. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Devansh. Now we'll hear from a man who's been instrumental to the success of not only this conference but this club. To be quite honest, none of us would be here on the stage, and I don't think any of you would be in this room if it weren't for him. But I'll let him talk about it. So this is our faculty advisor, Dr. Anurag Mairal. Thank you.
Thanks, Arman and Devansh. What a brilliant job. Let's just do a big round of applause for the SIPEC team. This is the first India conference on the West Coast of this size. It's a very unusual occurrence. East Coast typically gets a lot of these honors, and it's wonderful that we have decided to create this on the West Coast. This is going to grow. I know there are 300 people who wanted to be part of the program today. Not all of them could be accepted in, so we'll have to do it at a larger location. Hi, my name is Anurag Mairal. I'm a professor at School of Medicine, and it's really been privileged to see this group build this club and prepare for this amazing conference, amazing lineup. I have 2 asks today. Asks for all the table leaders and speakers today. Think of yourselves for one day as Stanford professors. You've been co-opted as Stanford faculty today. You will be sharing your insights. You know, Stanford has this tradition of not only having traditional academic professors, but also practitioners of the field come and teach. And that really is a good way for students at Stanford campus to learn from your experience. So that's an ask from folks that are from the industry, from outside of the campus, that are leading discussions on the table. So that's number one. The second ask is for the students. This is a rare opportunity. US-India partnership is going to be the most defining partnership of its kind for next 3 decades. And you all will be driving that partnership in the future. You'll be taking the reins soon enough. Take the opportunity, get to know these leaders, get to learn from them, ask as many questions, build a relationship with them. They will be very, very handy when you step out of the campus. So with that, thank you, and again, good job.
Okay, thank you. Now I'm honored to call upon the Honorable Consul General of India from San Francisco, Dr. Srikar Reddy, who's been hugely supportive of our initiatives and programming since he joined us just last year. So please give a very warm welcome to our Consul General.
Ambassador Sripriya Ranganathan, Anurag Mairal, Professor at Stanford Maya Center of Biodesign, speakers, faculty members, and my dear students, a very good morning, namaskar. I'm delighted to be back at Stanford for the second time in 3 days. So I had the privilege of participating in the inaugural session of the India Dialogue led by the Stanford faculty 2 days back, and now I'm back for the student-led conference. In fact, when the Stanford India Policy and Economic Club members met me in November, so they floated this idea of organizing this conference. I immediately supported their idea, and I'm very happy that with their very hard work and also support and guidance from Professor Anurag, so it has become a reality, and today we are seeing a good program with distinguished speakers in various fields of economy, politics, healthcare, and technology, and other areas, media and other areas. So I'm very happy. I would like to congratulate the SIPEC team led by Devansh and Arman. So very good, congratulations. And also I'd like to thank generous supporters like Motwani-Jadeja Foundation for the generous support for organizing this event. So all of you are aware that India got this dubious distinction last year in April of becoming the largest populated country in the world. But I think our large and youthful population is an asset for the country, because the average age of Indian population is 28 years old. Unlike Europe, the average age is 44 years. In US, it is 38, and China, 39 years. So the youth and aspirational population is driving the India's growth. So if you see just the last quarter GDP growth figures were out yesterday. So Indian GDP grew around 8.4%, and for this financial year, we are expecting a growth rate of 7.6%. So this is the third consecutive year where India is growing more than 7%, and it is also projected to grow over 7% in the next 3 years. So Indian economy is going to become the third largest and reach 5 trillion in the next 3 years, and also we're expecting to become a 7 trillion economy by 2030. And as you're aware, Prime Minister Narendra Modi gave a call to all Indians living in India and abroad, especially the youth of the country, including all of you here, to make India a developed country by 2047. So we are expecting India to be a 35 trillion economy by 2047. And we are also expecting India to overtake the US economy in 2060. Means you'll be seeing India as a big developed country, and each one of you are going to become partners in this India's economic growth. So I'm very happy that recently I visited some university in Southern California, Los Angeles, and also Arizona State University. I had the opportunity to interact with the students. I'm very happy to see that many students, maybe 30–40% of them, so they told me that they only come here to the US to study, and they would like to go back and become entrepreneurs and create jobs and also become part of the India's growth story. Unlike in the earlier times, during our times, people used to migrate to US just to settle down here, but this is a welcome change. I think each one of you, especially because you are the very fortunate ones to get admission in colleges at the Stanford University, I think after gaining knowledge, I think most of you will prosper not only here, but also go back to India and also become part of this overall Indian development. And as you know, India, we are in the midst of a digital revolution. So you must have heard about the India Stack, which is based on 3 aspects. One is the digital identity, Aadhaar card. The second is the United Payment Interface, which is UPI, and the Safe Data Exchange mechanism. So this, with this UPI payment mechanism, already it is become an important part of the India's development story. Like this has made inclusive growth in India, because all the people who were outside the formal sector, like street vendors, now because of this, they are becoming part of the formal financial system. It has made government direct benefit transfers directly into the accounts of all the beneficiaries. And also it is also because more and more people are using digital payments, it has also increased the revenues of the government. So this thing is very revolutionary. Like we have close to 380 million users, and in the month of January alone, 12.2 billion transactions were done using this very cheap program. And also this UPI payment thing has been now, many countries have adopted, like recently, just a couple of months, in last 2 months, we had Mauritius, Sri Lanka, Singapore, UAE, and also France adopting this thing. So we're also expecting the remittances from Indian diaspora living in these countries. The transaction cost will come down, because now the transaction cost is around 6 to 8%. But now we are expecting the transaction cost, especially when these countries, wherever this UPI thing is adopted, it will bring down 2%. Because the remittances for Indian diaspora, including the 5 million strong diaspora in the US, last year we have received 125 billion US dollars. So next year we are expecting 135. But if the people are losing money in the transaction, due to transaction costs, it is not good for the people sending, and also back home, the Indian economy also it will help. So I think these are the things, India is progressing very well, and I think each one of you will be part of this India growth story. I think my only suggestion to all of you is dream big, work hard, and ensure that whatever you think, you'll achieve your goal. So this thing, I'll just mention one quotation from Aristotle. He once said, "Excellence is never an accident. It is always the result of high intention, sincere effort, and intelligent execution." So I think I have no doubt that each one of you will put hard work and reach whatever goals or destination you have set for yourselves. And I conclude once again by appreciating all members of this SIPEC for organizing the Students India Dialogue Conference. And just before concluding, I would like to introduce Ambassador Sripriya Ranganathan. She began her career in the Indian Foreign Service in the year 1994. She served in various countries like Turkey, Myanmar, and also Hong Kong. And immediately prior to joining the Indian Embassy in Washington, year and a half back as the Deputy Chief of Mission, she was Ambassador of India in South Korea for 4 years. And she took over as the acting ambassador since 1st of February. And in Delhi also, she worked in very important divisions like the Bangladesh-Myanmar division. She headed that division. And also she served for 4 years in the Ministry of Commerce and Industry in the Trade Policy division. She speaks Tamil, Hindi, English, and also Turkish. And ma'am, without further ado, I would like to invite you to address the gathering. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Srikar. Good morning to all of you. It's truly such a pleasure to be in this amazing group today. And I'm very grateful to the faculty and to the students of Stanford for inviting us and for making it possible for us to share a little bit of what are our perspectives and our impressions of the India-US partnership, and what we hope and believe that you as Indian students in one of the most iconic and one of the most respected institutes of higher education across the world will be able to contribute. For me, it's truly an extraordinary privilege to be on this campus today. For many of us in India, Stanford is as a name stands for excellence, stands for something which is really, out of reach to most students who are looking for higher educational opportunities. And I think all of you must congratulate yourself for your courage of conviction and for your own achievements in even having made it to where you are right now, to be part of this educational journey here in Stanford. So I think it is, for me, a matter of great pride that so many Indians are part of this educational journey here in Stanford. When I was thinking about what I should say to you and what would be of interest to you in the context of the dialogue that you have here today, I thought that I would speak first about the connections between India and the US, the educational connections between India and the US, and what I hope that what we as Government of India and as the Embassy of India hope that the Indian student community in the US will be able to contribute as well. The threads that connect India and the US are strong, they run very deep, and they have been of very long standing. For more than 7 decades, in fact, I would say right from the time that India became an independent nation 75 years ago, knowledge partnerships and people-to-people ties have really formed the bedrock of this relationship. And in fact, it is the early waves of Indians who moved to the US to study and to make their careers, the engineers and the doctors. That was back in the 1950s and the 1960s, who created the openings of awareness of what India is and what India stands for amongst the people of the USA. If I look at over the past 20 to 25 years, you can also see in very clear, tangible, numerical terms, the manner in which the student partnership has also driven this relationship. Back in the year 2000, I was looking at the data before I came here, we had about 50,000 Indian students in the US, across all institutions in the US. Today, we are at 337,000. And I think that in itself speaks for what has changed and what has been transformative in this partnership. Of that, I was just asking Dr. Anurag, and he says that there are a few hundred here in Stanford, and that itself is remarkable. When I look at the broader relationship, the India-US strategic partnership, I think we have now reached a stage where we can say that the partnership has come into its own. We have achieved a lot over the past, like I said, 70 years. But what we have achieved over the past 20 years has been at a different level altogether. And I would say that now we are at a stage where we can be as ambitious as we choose to be. We can decide to set our goals, set our sights on targets that were unimaginable a few years ago. And we can say, we not only can be ambitious, but we can also be confident that we can make these things work. We can bring to implementation, ideas that would have seemed outlandish even 20 years ago. And I'll just touch on a couple of these before I move on to talk about the human connections between us. One example I want to give you is in the area of space. And many of you would have seen, and I know that many of you would have applauded the success of ISRO's Chandrayaan mission in bringing human beings to the, or human insight into the southern pole of the moon. What is perhaps less well known is the ISRO-NASA collaboration on the NISAR project. And that is such an exciting project in that there is a complex payload, a payload which has been partially designed and developed in India, brought to the US, partially designed and developed in the US. The payload has been put together, taken back to India for final testing and integration by Indian and US scientists, and that will be launched by the middle of this year on an Indian satellite and into outer space. And the data that will emerge from that satellite will be of value and will be made available to the scientific community across the world free of cost. So I think that's a great example of ideas that have been fleshed out, scientists who have come together, and for us to be able to deliver something which is of value to the world. The second example I want to give you is in a wider realm of critical and emerging technologies, because this is something that was launched about a year ago on the end of January, when India and the US agreed that we would come together in a more focused, systematic manner to explore possibilities for bilateral cooperation in various elements of high technology: artificial intelligence, robotics, defense and aerospace, biotechnology, bioinformatics, biomanufacturing, the entire area of semiconductors, quantum computing, high-performance computing. So, all areas in which, in both countries, our scientists and policymakers are actively engaged, because we see these as being the frontiers of the future and what will allow us to gain the leadership role in the shape of the global economy in the next 20, 30, 40 years. And we have reached the stage where we have been able to say to each other that let's work together so that we are able to shape this world together, so that we are able to discover where are the areas of overlap, where are the areas of complementarity, so that together we are able to make a difference. And I think if we look back after about 10 years, we will find that there are at least 10 to 15 interesting, important and profound projects that India and the US have been able to work on and concretize, so that we are able to make this a fantastic platform of our collaboration. Now, coming back to the human connection, the people-to-people contacts between us, I mentioned that we have the advantage of having, at the moment, 330,000 Indian students in the US. And this is, to my mind, a very, very powerful bridge that connects the people of India and the people of the USA. Their success, your success across fields, whether it is in the field of technology, STEM, whether it is in the field of humanities, journalism, whatever would be the sector that you're interested in and that you wish to make your career in. By your sheer presence over here and by your capacity to pick up what is happening in this country, the innovation, the excitement, the energy, the capacity of academia and industry to work together. Whatever you can pick up over here, whatever you can share in your turn back in India in terms of what to shape what is happening in India. And at the same time, and I would take a cue from what my friend over here said, that what can we do to also inform the people over here about what is happening in India. And it's really so amazing the kind of changes that are taking place on the economic front, the technology front, the societal front, the changes that are happening in terms of empowerment of women, for example, the changes that are happening in terms of bringing to center stage people from remote parts of the country. You know, these are all transformations that are happening every single day, and the world only gets a glimpse of it through the media, and often these are part of the story. So each of you, since you have this very direct connection with India through your families and your own growing up years, we believe that you will be able to contribute very tangibly to the partnership and the understanding between India and the US. So I would want to give to you a few thoughts of how you can serve as these living bridges between India and the US. The first bridge is that of knowledge. The very fact that you are at a university like Stanford, which is rightly known as an innovation hub and as an institute of excellence, which takes in the best and the brightest and brings out people who are thoughtful, who are forward-leaning, who are capable of making a mark on whichever area of activity you choose to touch. I would urge you to maintain your connections with India and bring some of these learnings also back to India so that we are able to also benefit from the knowledge that you're picking up over here. The second is a bridge of collaboration. If you can join hands with both on campus and beyond with your friends, with your peers in the US, professors in the US, and able to pursue excellence in partnership with them, I think that is an area of exploration that we feel would yield us tremendous dividends going forward. The third bridge is the bridge of culture. If you can, in your conversations, in your interactions, share the cultural perspectives, share your stories, break down the stereotypes, and spark off that interest in India, in knowing about India, in experiencing India, sharing the amazing progress that India has made in the past few years with your colleagues and friends and fellow students here on campus. I think that would be an amazing contribution that you would be able to make. And I would put it to you that if you were to take a poll amongst the students on campus and perhaps even the faculty on campus, how many people on this campus would know that right now in India, we have a woman president. We have a woman president who belongs to a tribal community. We have a woman president who belongs to a tribal community who was a teacher in a school in a small place in Odisha until she came and she moved into the role that she in. She literally moved from a single-room cottage to the majesty of Rashtrapati Bhavan, and that is the reason why India ticks, and that is the reason why there is so much of optimism and there is so much of confidence in India that the Indian democracy works, and this is why there is that buzz in India that we are going to have a better future and a better lifestyle ahead. How many people on this campus would know about the amazing transformation that has taken place in India's digital landscape? That just over the past 5 years, 7 years, 8 years, we have brought in more than 80% of the Indian people into the formal banking ecosystem. There are 99% of India's 1.4 billion people have their own unique digital ID. That the number of rural internet users in India is 340 million, and this is more than the number of internet users in urban India. I don't think people know of these realities and these changes that have taken place. How many people know that 40% of global digital payments take place in India? You know, these are realities which are often overlooked because people don't connect the dots and figure out that these are the changes that are taking place. This is truly the new India, the India that we are experiencing. And I would put it to you that next year when you have this conference, you will find that these figures have changed, and you will be able to say it may not be 340 million, it may be 400 million, and I would not be surprised if that change has come about. So I would, again, returning to the bilateral space, we have the ambition, the confidence that we would be able to bring on the table a whole lot of new areas of collaboration. We are hoping that we will be co-developing and co-producing a lot of technology, defense equipment, space equipment. We are confident that our startups, your startups, the venture capitalists, the investors, they will all come together to create an absolutely new realm of exploration and activity. We believe that that we will work together to generate and to secure global supply chains. We will be able to back each other up, fill the gaps that we are perceiving in our respective capacities, and help each other to be able to be even stronger in our economies, even stronger in our capacity to make the most of what the world is offering, and also even stronger in our capacity to deliver to what the poorer segments in the world are looking forward to. So friends, with this I would like to conclude by wishing you the very best of luck in whatever you're choosing to study. You are at an amazing institution. You must make the most of the years that you have on campus. But I want you to remain connected with India, remain connected with your home culture and your home country, and help us in India to learn from what you're learning and make it a richer and stronger partnership. Thank you so much, and all the best for the dialogue.
All right, thank you so much, Honorable Ambassador. Before we move forward, there's one other person that I really want to thank, and I'm going to have her. I'm going to shout her out. So I do want her to take a stand. Ms. Asha Jadeja Motwani. She's been hugely instrumental in helping SIPEC plan our events and for putting together this conference. So thank you so much for being here. And she'll be leading a lunch table topic discussion. So please make sure to stick around for that. With that, the opening ceremony is just about done. But before you guys hop off stage, we have a tradition here at SIPEC. Because we're trying to, really bolster the India narrative on campus, we like to tell people to put on their thinking hats. So if I could have the two of you come up to the stage. So I'd like to, so Devansh is going to present them with just a token of our gratitude and thank them from coming all this way for us. Thank you guys so much. Should they put it on? If they'd like. And then we'll get a photo. Thank you.